60 years ago this month, when this fantastic racing circuit was carved out of the local countryside. We're in Virginia for the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. The beautiful verdant countryside playing host to VIR, Virginia International Raceway. 3.27 miles of undulating tarmac that will test the best in the world. And the best in the world are here this weekend for the Michelin GT Challenge at VIR. 17 corners, just over that 3¼ miles. Action areas at turn 1 and turn 12, the oak tree turn, and also running down the hill through turn 14, the roller coaster, and the hog pen at turn 17. Important to get a good run out of that. Some very tough corners on this circuit. And we're going qualifying to set 2 pole positions for GT Daytona and for GT Le Mans. It's the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, and it's live coming up on IMSA Radio. Well, wherever you are around the circuit on 89.9 FM or around the world on IMSA TV or IMSA Radio, good to have your company. If you can't see one of the big jumbotrons here and you've got a bit of Wi-Fi data, then make sure you plug yourself into IMSA.tv and you'll be able to see it. There's no geo-block, and we are commercial free through until the end of this session. Jeremy Shaw is alongside me here in the IMSA broadcast booth as we bring IMSA Radio and IMSA TV together in perfect synchronicity and harmony. Lovely day for it, little bit of breeze, but nice weather outside. The team's looking forward to this, I think, and certainly the guys who are qualifying, I'm sure, can't wait to get out on the track. Yeah, perfect harmony and perfect weather conditions as well. It really is a glorious weekend here at Virginia International Raceway. And for the fans who are here at the racetrack, Bill King is the official historian here for the track. He literally wrote the book on VIR, and he's signing copies of the book right behind us here in the main paddock area here. And Richard Petty will be here, is here this weekend, and
Grand
will
Marshal.
be signing. You can get Richard Petty to sign that book tomorrow, I gather, at 10 o'clock as well. So, but no, it's a wonderful racetrack, a track that all the drivers enjoy, and a real challenge, and particularly when you're right on the ragged edge, as you will be in qualifying coming up right now, because if you don't use every inch of the racetrack here, you're not going to extract the maximum potential from the car. And if you overstep the mark by just a tiny little bit, you're going to be off the road and not onto a nice paved, smooth runoff area, but onto the grass. And that is not quite so easy to recover from. And there have been many people who have used all of the circuit and a little more this week already. 11 cars will go out in qualifying for GT Daytona, which we'll see first. It's only a 15 minutes.
It should be 15.
Only 11 on my screen there,
16.
but yes, you're
Should be
absolutely
16,
right. Should be
actually.
16
Yeah,
cars. Shea Adam has news of a not necessarily typical set of qualifying drivers.
It's always worth walking up and down the pit lane before a session begins, because even if a team tells you a certain driver is going to qualify, that doesn't necessarily mean that they will be helmeted and behind the wheel. So if we start all the way down at pit in, the 54 Core Autosport, I did see Colin Brown in his fire suit still. I did not see John Bennett hanging around that car when I walked by. For Lexus, they're going with a different strategy this weekend. We've seen it a couple times from them where they qualify their gold-rated drivers or their better rated drivers. An interesting decision given that Sage Karam and Jack Hawksworth have not raced here at IMSA competition, and Scott Pruitt, one of the drivers in those cars, holds the record for most wins at this track alongside Bill Oberlin. He's not getting the chance to qualify. What we saw last round out, GTD Road America, was Jerome Moll getting his first ever pole position. What we saw yesterday was Jerome Moll becoming Air Moll, as you've been calling it, John. He got airborne around the circuit. He's getting a chance to go for a second consecutive pole position. But the biggest story in qualifying, the biggest story of GTD of the weekend, That's the story of the 33 Riley Technologies AMG GT3 as the green flag waves. And that's the sound of it going out on track, being driven by Jerome Bleekemolen. Now, Jerome gets to qualify on very special occasions. He gets one pole position a year, at least that's been the pattern since the merger happened in 2014. He's going out in this qualifying because his normal co-driver, Ben Keating, not running this weekend. And Ben, our thoughts are with you out in Texas. Hope everything goes okay for you and the family. His normal co-driver, Trent Hindman, is getting ready for a race coming up as soon as this qualifying session is done. So Jerome has been given the qualifying duties. Money would be well placed on the 33 for a pole position.
Well, no money needs to be placed if you want to be a winner, of course. Your picks for www.podiumpredictor.com, powered by IHG Rewards Club, and that is staying open until midnight Eastern time tonight. So you will be able to make your picks after qualifying. Shea Adam is the expert that you are trying to beat. She made her picks 3 weeks ago, and there's been some additions to the entry list since then. 16 cars now on my list on the screen. So Jeremy, you were spot on, and I was leaning on technology rather too much. The cars are out on their out lap, and they will start their first flyer. Bit of jockeying for position coming out of Oak Tree with the 5-0 of Cooper McNeil up alongside the 63 Scuderia Corsa Ferrari, which has Christina Nielsen at the wheel, and they're on a drag race down the back straight in towards the roller coaster. Christina, championship leader at the moment, doesn't need to be involved with that, and slows right down at the top of the hill to get a little bit of breathing room as Cooper McNeil gets right up underneath the rear wing of the car ahead. Now Christina gets the throttle on as she's being caught by one of the Acuras coming out of the final corner.
By my reckoning, this is the first time that Jerome Bleekemolen has actually qualified a car in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship since 2015. I don't think he actually qualified the car at all last year, certainly hasn't this year. But he did qualify here at VIR in 2015 and started second on that occasion.
On pole at Petit last year, I think, is what Shea, tell us. You've got the facts there at your fingertips.
He's got 3 pole positions, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park in 2014. 2015, he was on pole at the 12 Hours of Sebring, and then last year was the final race of the season, Petit Le Mans.
Okay.
According to my notes, he was second.
Ah.
So is that wrong?
Was there a change afterwards that in post-quali tech? So just after 20 past midday here and just under 12 minutes to go. Sage Karam is the first at the top of the screen. He's got the fastest Sector 3 time, but no one's done a flying lap yet as we're waiting for pole position. And all 16 cars are out of the pits and running around on their first lap. Shea Adam, a completely clear pit lane for you.
Except for the GTLM cars, yes. It's a little bit unsettling when you have nothing left but cars that are sitting with no wheels on them. But yeah, it's nice and calm down here. All the GTD cars went out that were able to. Dan Knox, the last one to leave the pit lane. On the scoring screen, it's actually showing John Bennett behind the wheel of the 54, and that would be as normal. This is a home race for that team, so very, very good opportunity for John to be able to qualify and then have Colin finish the race. They did get a win here back in 2012, but that was a PC class. But it's going to be changing very quickly, this timing screen. As Jeremy and I were discussing earlier, it's a bit of a rainbow early on in the qualifying sessions with blue and purple sector times lighting up for personal best and overall best. And who jumps to the top of the charts to start this off? But Jerome Bleekemolen, he's trying to get this pole position, trying to make it 4 in 4 years. That's a good record for somebody who doesn't often qualify.
Thank you, Shea.
Yeah, thank you, Jen. I was looking at Bergmeister instead of Bleekemolen, my fault.
This next sound you'll hear, dear listener and viewer, is me hitting Jeremy Shaw with a copy of the programme.
Thank you, Shea.
hang on, here we go.
Again, go, ouch, Stand corrected.
Just under 10 minutes to go, 1:48.1. Kenny Abul, who's done more grass cutting than the groundsman at Lord's cricket pitch in the last couple of days, but he's kept it on the straight and narrow, or the twisty and narrow as it is here, with a 48.1, and the 75 Mercedes is top of the pile at the moment from Madison Snow, who is qualifying the 48 Lambo, which was pole and won the race last year. The men I think they've all got to beat. Surely it's got to be Blake and Mull, and Mull goes to the top. Jerome Mull to the top with a 46.4 in the Change Racing Lamborghini, which has looked very, very good indeed from the very moment that it rolled off their trailer and onto the circuit. It has been one of those golden weeks for the 16 car, and through goes Blake Volan, and he goes to the top in the 33 car. Plug and play, Jeremy.
Yeah, we're still a way away from where we expected to see the times for this session. The fastest lap of the weekend so far in GTD was set this morning by Jerome Mull in car number 16. That was a 1 minute 43.2. Blake Volan's best in this session, the fastest, as you say, at the moment in car number 33 was a 144.4, and as I say, that Jack Hawksworth eclipses that with a 144.2 aboard the number 15 Lexus.
Hawksworth, yeah, 44.2, very good. You mentioned Jack in the earlier session, Jeremy, and he's certainly taken to this slight change of discipline. Seen him running in the open wheel ranks, of course. Brought on board for the start of this season with Paul Gentilozzi's Lexus squad. The Lexus has had a couple of false starts of getting into GT3 or GT Daytona racing around the world, and the not inconsiderable might of Toyota thrown at that project as well, and is paying dividends. But Jerome Mull will not be denied at the moment in the 16 Lamborghini, Jeremy.
Indeed not. 143.8 now is Jerome Mull in car number 16 for Change Racing, the North Carolina-based team, so not too far from that team's home base. Jesse Krohn briefly into second place for Turner Motorsports in the BMW car number 96. Went off there for Kenny Abul in car number 75. Well, that's isn't the first time we've said that this weekend. But that number 75 Mercedes Sun Energy 1 car is off the road and nosed up against the tyre barriers. I don't think there was any heavy contact there. No, indeed not, I think. But he's
up at
reverse. Not sure where that is actually. Oh, it is, yeah, usual place.
It's yes, the addition of some advertising around the exit of the oak tree put me off there. That
lap by Jerome Mull, by the way, 143.835. Jack Hawksworth had almost matched it, but not quite. 143.948 for the Englishman aboard car number 16. So it's 15, excuse me. So it's number 16 that leads, number 15 in second place. Madison Snow now jumps into third in the Lamborghini car number 48 for Paul Miller Racing, 144.1. Also on 44.1, car number 14, Sage Karam, the Lexus, and Jerome Blekemolen in number 33, AMG Mercedes. All of those three cars on 144.1. Top 7 cars covered by 0.4 of a second. We've got Lamborghini Lexus at the front, and then behind them Mercedes, BMW, Audi, Porsche, Acura, Porsche, Ferrari, Christina Nielsen down in 11th place. Just a couple of places ahead of her is Catherine Legg. Those two often seem to be very, very closely matched in qualifying, yes. It seems, and always inside the top 10. There's another improvement for Jesse Krohn, who goes to the top, a 143.832 by 0.003 of a second. The BMW winner last time out at Road America goes to the top of the timing charts with just over 5 minutes remaining.
Jesse Krohn then. Now that's a decent time, 43.8. I'm not sure it'll be enough for Paul. 0.003 of a second ahead of Mull.
It's a little bit warmer now, certainly than it was this morning. Perfect conditions this morning for the final practice session for these cars, but that is a great effort by the young Finn. .26 years old, one of the BMW junior drivers for the last couple of years. Another, as did most people in the field, started his career in open wheel ranks. It was the North European champion in Formula Renault nearly 10 years ago now. That was back in 2008. So it's now BMW at the top of the charts once again. That manufacturer coming off its first win of the season last time out at Road America. And these tyres now, so Catherine Legg improves up to 8th position, 144.4 in the number 93 Acura. Fractionally ahead of Daniel Morad, also improves on that last up at 44.4 in number 28 Allegra Motorsports Porsche. Jeroen Mull out on track. What can he respond? I tell you who can respond, and that is Jeroen Blekemolen. 143.826. So we've got the top 3 cars covered by less than 1/100th of a second.
Yeah, 006.009. This is, we expect close, Jeremy, but this is getting ridiculous now.
That is incredible.
But of course, people will still try and tell you that BOP doesn't work. Put 3 young Chargers in 3 completely different cars and set them off over 3 1/4 miles, 3 1/3 miles, and see what you get. And the answer is pretty much identical times.
Yeah, that is absurd. And Jeroen Mull is on a better lap now, though. He's gone purple in Sector 1, 36.8. That's a couple or 3 tenths quicker than anybody else. Jack Holtz has just improved. He's just improved to a 143.870, so he's 0.044 off the fastest time, and he finds himself 4th.
Yeah, so that's the top 4 now. Mercedes-Benz, that's a front engine, rear wheel drive, of course.
Mull's on it now, though.
Mull's on another one. Then we've got the Lamborghini.
Oh, he's got held up.
Oh, he's been held up massively by the number 54 Porsche.
Oh, how galling is that? How much time has it cost him?
Just coming out of the final corner, and John Bennett was peeling off into the pits there. And Mull, well, he doesn't need to find much. Top 4 separated by less than half a tenth. Yeah. And, well, it was enough to keep him from improving, Jeremy.
Cost him a second, probably.
A second?
Yep. Just coming down those last couple of corners. John Bennett was on his way into the pit lane in car number 54. He's currently 14th at 146.1. And, oh, golly, that's so galling. Jesse Krohn has gone back to the top, though, with a 143.621 in the Turner Motorsport BMW.
Less than 2 minutes to go, and he's now got 2 tenths on Jeroen Blekemolen and the rest of the field. And in the context of what we've been talking about, that is a lot of daylight between him and the rest. And bear in mind, if you'd set those guys off on a lap together when we had 0.044 together, that's barely the width of a bumper to the front wheel of them crossing the line together. So just think about that for a moment over 3.27 miles here of VIR. Once again, the GT cars putting on a great show in the Michelin GT Challenge here at VIR for the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. Still to come, the GTLM cars, when we have 9 of them this weekend, as we welcome back the Ferrari of Risi Competizione, and they were fastest in the last practice session.
Jesse Krohn has just gone purple in Sector 1. He's just got a great draft also off the number 75 Mercedes on Madison Avenue on the run towards the roller coaster. If he wasn't held up coming off the corner, which I don't think he was, this could be another great lap. Oh no, I think he lost a bit of time in the middle sector. But I tell you who is on a good lap, and that is Jeroen Mull once again. Yeah, good enough. Good enough by another 2 tenths of a second. Mull back to the pole for Change Racing in car number 16. The old record, by the way, set last year by Madison Snow at a 144.9, which would currently put you at 12th.
No.
It was more than a second and a half quicker than the old record.
So last 15 seconds, you will get the lap that you start if you can get across the line. There goes the 93 of Catherine Legg. She's going to get another lap. I think that Bleekemolen might get through as well. It's going to be tight. Yes, Bleekemolen has just gone through, so he will get another lap in the 33. There's the time up. The checkered flag now will be shown to the next car by, and that's Cooper McNeil in the Porsche. Then Daniel Morad in the Allegra Porsche,
who did improve on that final lap into 8th position, just ahead of Catherine Legg.
So Bleekemolen still on it, and right in his wheel tracks at the moment is the number 86 Acura with Oz Negri behind the wheel, and Bleekemolen pulls over. So Negri was on a quick one, and Bleekemolen must have known he wasn't. So Oz Negri in the Valencia Crystal red car, and the other one is Nouvelle Blue Crystal, isn't it? It certainly pops in the sunshine. What a lovely colour that is. 86 Acura then heading down the back straight. 3 rises, a small one and 2 larger ones, up over into the dip. Then set yourself up for the entry to the roller coaster. Comes from the middle of the road, just jags to the right-hand side before he turns left-handed. Tricky because you can't see the middle part, the apex of the corner. Did he slightly over-slow himself down there a little bit? I'm not sure. He's charging down the hill. He will know whether he is on a good lap, Will Negri. So he'll either pull into the pits or he'll go on. I think he's going to turn right-handed into the pit. Yeah, I think that lap was blown before he got to the roller coaster. Meantime, in the pit lane, Jerome Mull, Andrew Davis up into 3rd in the Audi for Stevenson right at the end there, Jeremy.
Yeah, excellent job by Andrew Davis there, up into 3rd place, like you say. 143.770 for Andrew Davis in that number 57 Audi. And Andrew, he's qualified, his best qualifying effort this season was 2nd position at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. The team went on to win that race, and his co-driver Lawson Aschenbach was on the pole at Detroit.
Shea Adam has this statistic about our pole sitter.
Thanks to Reed Atherton for the intel. This is our first repeat pole sitter. Driver, not car, because the 48, both drivers have made it on pole. But yeah, so congrats to Air Mole.
Yeah, kept all 4 Continentals on the tarmac and did a very, very good job. 27-year-old from Holland, and getting the congratulations of the rest of the team there. Shea Adam is down there, and we'll have a chat with him once he has performed the formalities. Some pictures to be taken. The gap in the end, relatively healthy, 0.230 of a second, so just over 0.2 of a second on 2 1/4 miles. Big smile from Jerome, who is about to put the pole sitter's hat on and speak to Shea Adam.
Well, Jerome, yesterday you discovered how fast you were when you kept all 4 wheels in the air. Today you kept them all on the ground in a 2nd consecutive pole position. Anything left in the car for the race tomorrow? Do you have any more speed?
I have to say that the team has just done such an amazing job preparing the car here for us this weekend. It's been a little loud. It's been flying from the start, a little bit too much maybe in that free practice session, but still the car has been absolutely phenomenal on all conditions and all tires basically for us. So Corey and I are very happy with the car. He did an awesome job as well in practice, just verifying everything and making sure that the car was also as good as it can be for him and consistent for the race. So, but yeah, this pole victory is an amazing feeling yet again. Very much deserved for this Change Racing team with the Lamborghini Huracan GT3 that we're running here. Super excited to be able to do this for our home crowd. I mean, at least for the home crowd of Change Racing here, also with Lamborghini Carolinas being present. The Continental tires did an awesome job for me today, giving me exactly the grip that I need on this awesome track, which again is a new one for me, but it's going to be hard to, at the end of the year, name a favorite for me because they're all so beautiful.
We still have 2 good ones to go to. It seems like it's been perfect, though, your Lamborghini, since it rolled off the truck. Have you guys made any major changes to it this weekend at all?
No, we've been experimenting. I mean, obviously, you don't want to make your or have your sessions that you have go to waste. So even if you feel that the car is good, you want to be testing and trying other things, maybe for a future track, or also just to see if it can improve even more. But yeah, it's been pretty flawless so far.
Well, congratulations on the pole. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, great guy in and out of the car, Jeremy. He's done nothing but impress me this season. And fair play to the team, Change Racing as well. This is a team that have developed themselves within the IMSA structure over the last couple of seasons as well. And moving into the WeatherTech Sports Car Championship in GT Daytona. Very good effort by all concerned.
Yeah, very impressive. Yeah, a Lamborghini young driver for the last couple of years. He came in through the Lamborghini Super Trofeo in Europe, and a lot of raised eyebrows at the beginning of this season. Your own who, everybody says, and particularly when he put it into the fence on the first lap of the Rolex 24 and cost the team an hour or more in the pits. But since then, you know, he's got his confidence back quite clearly, driving beautifully, and a credit to the sport and the team and his country, the Netherlands. So yeah, hats off to Jeroen Mul and all at Change Racing for this second consecutive pole position. Now they've got to turn that into the victory. I mean,
which is what the Lamborghini team did last year in the shape of Paul Miller Racing.
Right.
Yeah,
yes,
they did do that. By the way, that car finishes up in 7th. What a difference a year makes. Although Madison Snow did a 44.1.
Yeah.
So that was how much quicker than his pole position last year?
0.8 of a second.
Yeah. So you improve 0.8 year on year, and not only you're not on pole position, you're on the inside of the 4th row.
Yeah.
That just shows you how competitive this category is year on year, particularly when a similar car is on the pole position. That's quite extraordinary, isn't it? So Lamborghini, BMW on row 1, 16 and 96. Audi 57 and Mercedes 33. Jerome Blake and Molan doing a great job there on row 2. Then the Lexus twins. The Lexus Nexus are row number 3, 15 from 14, Hawksworth from Sage Karam. Then row 4, which is the 48, and that's a Lamborghini and a Porsche, the Allegra Porsche, and rounding off the top 10 on row 5, Catherine Legg and Christina Nielsen together in the 93 Acura and the 63 Ferrari. Now remember, the 63 team, Christina Nielsen and Alessandro Balzan, are leading the championship. But again, I would guess that with a 44.5, Christina has taken time out of her qualifying from last year as well, when she was she 3rd in qualifying here last year, Jeremy, Christina?
Don't know. This is the 3rd race out of the last 4, though. These two qualified alongside each other. What was the question? Where she qualified
where
here
did
last
Christina
year?
qualify last year, and what? And if you've got a time for that?
Don't have the time handy. That'll take a bit more digging. But she qualified last year here in the 7th position.
Oh, 7th. All right, fine. I thought she was a little bit further up the grade, but championship on the line for the 63 car.
Yes, they come in this weekend leading by 15 over Ben Keating and Jeroen Blekemolen in the number 33 car. So they got a pretty good edge. But that, as we've seen already this season, that can disappear pretty quickly.
And if you didn't catch it at the start of the broadcast, Ben Keating headed back to Texas yesterday. Yes, yesterday in the with the coming Hurricane Harvey, and the team have heard from him. It's apparently not very pleasant down there. I think that there was a lot of editing that had gone into that being told to us. We wish the best to Ben Keating, his family, and indeed to everyone in that area of Texas who are battling against the extreme elements of Hurricane Harvey, which hit overnight. Is dumping,
still hitting.
And that's the problem, Jeremy, isn't it? Dumping an awful lot of water. Corpus Christi all the way through the coast, through Houston, and a little bit further around.
Yeah, they're not measuring the rainfall there in inches. They're measuring it in feet.
Yes.
Remarkable.
A lot of people in this paddock have connections or homes down there. Call that area of Texas home, not least our race director, Bo Barfield, and quite a lot, of course, of the Risi Competizione guys from that area. That's where the team is based. We wish them all the very best, and everybody down there at the moment, you're in our thoughts and prayers. The good news for us is that Risi Competizione, Jeremy, is back, and back with a vengeance this weekend. We hear this is the last running for this car. The Le Mans car that got a bit banged up at the Circuit de la Sarthe is back in the US, having had some remedial work done by Michelotto, and there's still a little bit of finishing for that car to be done, and that will run the rest of the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. Great to see Dave Sims and the rest of the guys back in the paddock, and that Scarlet car back on the track.
Yeah, indeed. Extensive front-end damage caused when he got turfed off the road, didn't he? One of the chicanes during the race. Tony Vilander was driving the car at that point. Was it Tony driving the car at that stage? I believe so. Anyhow, heavy front-end impact. The front end completely destroyed on that car. So great job by Michelotto, and now the Risi team finishing that off. But yeah, great return. The quickest this morning was Tony Vilander in that car. So see what they can do for qualifying.
They are rolling out. Wherever you are in the world, watching or listening here at the track on 89.9 and the big Jumbotrons, or on IMSA.com or the IMSA app. Don't forget the IMSA app, absolutely free. All of the 3 major operating systems supported. Go to your app store, search for IMSA, and make sure you stay up to date with all of the content.
1 minute 40.855, the lap time this morning for the Finn, Tony Vilander. The track record, John, was set last year by Jan Magnussen at 141.5.
And it was Pierre Caffer who was driving the Risi car when it got shunted. It's all right, that was Marshall Pruitt of Racer.com who's just reminded me
it wasn't
of that. As you said it, I was thinking, I don't think I was on at the time. I think that was Johnny, but I remember going back through this. Yeah. Yes, that was nasty. Now, in this session, potentially, we have 3 drivers who could grab a maiden pole.
Yes, we do. Lawrence Vantor in the number 9112.
9112.
Alex 912.
All right.
Fine, sorry. Reading my notes, added an extra 1 there. The 911, number 912, how about that?
There you go.
Alexander Sims in the number 25, and Tommy Milner in the 4 Corvette. Our pole sitter last year was Jan Magnussen. He has gone back out to try and defend that title in the number 3. And interesting, he has 3 poles to his name. 2 of them came at Long Beach, 1 of them at VIR last year, so he kind of only gets poles at the same tracks over and over again.
Okay.
We've got Joey Hand, who's got 3 poles to his name. 2 of them coming this year in the 66, and Richard Westbrook, who has 5 poles over the span of his career in IMSA series. He is qualifying the number 67. Giancarlo Fisichella is behind the wheel of the number 62, as that's the sound of the number 4 Corvette firing up. And the only other car that I've yet to tell you about, well, the only other 2, the 24 is John Edwards, so he took Martin Tomczyk's opportunity to get his first pole away. And it's Dirk Werner in the number 911 Porsche, the 911. And Dirk has 2 poles also to his credit, one of which came earlier this year. He was the first ever pole sitter for the new model of car, so hopefully he can do it here again today. At least that's what he's hoping. Last year when he raced here, remember, he made his car convertible. So just hoping he doesn't do that again.
Different make and model of car, indeed. So, Shea, thank you. Live from trackside, IMSA TV and radio together. The tale of the tape as far as practice has been going on is the Porsches with not their happy faces. Oh, this is not a Porsche track, we have been told by a number of Porsche teams, but in various of their guises. The 911 and 912, of course, the new RSRs with the engines pushed into the middle of the car as per the regulations allowing, changing the balance of the car, and more importantly allowing the honking great diffuser that is sticking out of the back that looks like a British secondary school bicycle shed. It's that large.
Yeah, and my interpretation of this not being a Porsche track isn't it? They haven't yet dialed in this car to this track. I mean, it is a brand new car for this season. they've probably tested here. I don't know whether they've tested here. I believe they have. Quite a few of the teams have before this weekend. They certainly don't have a lot of track time here, even if they have been here previously, and so an awful lot to learn. And they've been shown making great improvements with this car all the way through the season.
Laurens Vanthoor immediately on the pace of 42.7 on his first flying lap. You'll see these cars, of course, are all running on Michelin tyres, although it is an open tyre formula. And you'll see these guys in the different cars maybe taking slightly different tactics as to whether they go for it immediately on their first flyer or whether they wait a couple. The Corvettes normally take a little bit longer and do 2 slightly slower laps. BMW the same, but Laurens Vanthoor in the 912 has gone for it early.
Yeah, the BMWs and sometimes the Corvettes often lag back a lap or two before they go out there. They want some of the Michelin rubber to be laid down on the racetrack. Let's not forget, of course, the GT Daytona cars run on Continental tyres. The GTLM field all run on Michelin. So different rubber used by these different classes, and potentially, possibly, conceivably, the Michelin tyres react in terms of grip on the racetrack better when some other Michelin rubber has all been laid down. Fact or fiction, don't really know, but whatever. That's certainly the fact that the BMWs often languish a little bit longer in the pits before the gap. But this time, everybody seems to be out on the track right away.
Shea Adam, bit of a backward cycling race between BMW and Corvette a moment or two ago.
It was quite entertaining to watch, John, because Chris Bell, who does the dragger changes for the number 4 car, the 3 had already gone, and he was standing out there with the door open for Tommy Milner, just sitting in the car waiting to be sent out, waving to the BMWs, go on, after you, please, go ahead, track's green. And the BMWs actually went first, so it kind of works. I don't know if that reverse psychology actually paid off. We'll have to see. If the 4 is on pole, then the 25 and the 24 might want to reevaluate their psychologists.
The new time to beat is that of Giancarlo Fisichella, 1:41.377.
Second position, the number 912 Porsche of Laurens Vanthoor, 42.062. That is the fastest lap of the weekend so far by either of the Porsches.
Oh yes, it is.
42.2 was the best lap previous to this session. That was turned this morning by the Belgian in that number 912 car, 42.271. So already found a couple of tenths.
Jan Magnussen likes this place. He qualified on pole position here last year for Chevrolet Corvette, and he's put his stake in at the table. This is like a high stakes, very fast moving game of poker. 141.1 now for Jan Magnussen, and the number 3 car is at the top, but being pressed very hard indeed by John Edwards in the 24 BMW, just 0.073 of a second behind. So once again, we're talking about gaps here, Jeremy, at the top of the timing screen of less than a tenth of a second.
Indeed, and John Edwards actually lost about 0.3 of a second compared to Jan Magnussen on the final sector of the lap. Improvements though for Joey Hand, 1 minute 40.8, and then from Giancarlo Fisichella, a new fastest lap of the weekend so far.
40.6 for Fizzy. The Fizzy fella is back in form.
He is.
He likes this place.
He loves racing in North America, doesn't he? Absolutely.
He was a little bit out of sorts at Sebring, I seem to remember, which meant that Tony Vielander and new boy to Sebring, James Collado, had to do quite a lot of the race. But being away, he's done a few races in Europe, so he's kept himself race ready, if you will. And this place seems to bring out the best of him. It's one of those tracks, Jeremy, like, I don't know, Spa or the Nürburgring, natural terrain road courses, all where the drivers really feel they can make a difference and they want to do well here. They apply themselves, and the best drivers can shine here.
They can. Alexander Sims has just eclipsed Fisichella. A 140.415 for Sims. He was purple in Sector 1. Personal best in Sector 2, purple in Sector 3. However, his Sector 1 time has now been eclipsed on this next lap by the number 62 Ferrari of Giancarlo Fisichella. But no improvement on the middle sector for Fisichella. He's coming down the hill now towards the final couple of corners.
Right, if you're here at the tracks, take a couple of steps back from the track side at the moment, because this is about to get very serious indeed. Alexander Sims, first time here, loving this place. Had a big accident at turn 3 in the test. And Joey Hand's just gone through into second by 0.018 of a second. BMW, Ford, Ferrari, BMW, Ford, Chevy, Corvette, Porsche, Chevy, Porsche, the top 9 at the moment, and that is the whole GTLM field. But BMW, Ford, Ferrari, the top 3, separated by under 0.2 of a second, and the fastest sectors being shared out amongst the top 3 drivers, with Alexander Sims still holding on to the middle sector. Giancarlo Fisichella has the first sector, and Joey Hand has the third sector. So 3 different cars shining in 3 different parts of this 3¼ mile circuit.
Very interesting. Lawrence Vantor improved on his last lap to a 41.4. That's 0.8 of a second quicker than he managed in the session a little earlier on today. He still finds himself 8th, ahead only of his teammate Dirk Werner. That is pretty remarkable. Some stunning lap times this afternoon in the hottest part of the day here at VIR.
Alexander Sims touring around the horseshoe at turn number 1. Is he just looking for a bit of space behind him? That's the Tommy Milner car, I believe, with the red mirrors coming through as they head up the hill. BMWs with the M6 in the BMW M Sport livery, and a mistake for the 911 of Dirk Werner, exactly where his teammate Patrick Pilet went off yesterday at the top of the hill. No oak tree there, but he's gone pretty much straight on. My guess would be he's lost the rear end of the car, trying to come in a tad too quickly. No harm, no foul though, other than dirtying up the Michelin tyres. Comes through 10, up to the top of the rise, turns in, sort of saves it, but then doesn't. Yeah, just a little bit too much speed on the entrance there. The back end got away from him as he turned into the corner. Maybe a little bit too much rear brake, or just trying to carry a little bit too much speed, whatever it was. The car slipped sideways. He corrected, but not enough to prevent the car from spinning off the road. Meanwhile, improvement for John Edwards in the BMW car number 24. He's now 0.026 of a second behind his teammate Alexander Sims, and John Edwards finds himself not second but third, because in between the two of them is Joey Hand. So it's number 25 BMW, number 66 Ford, number 24 BMW separated by 0.026 of a second. Then Fisichella all of a sudden finds himself back in the 4th position. With just under 3 minutes still to go. And into the pits for Sims, no more from the BMW driver. I was about to say, those M6s, very smart looking car, and the BMW M Sport stripes never make a car look worse. It looks absolutely brilliant, that. I have to say, I'd kind of like to do something like that on my BMW motorcycle.
Joey Hand is on a flyer, comes out of the final corner. He's got purple in sector 2, John, and personal best in sector 1. What can he do?
Well, he only needs to find 0.018 of a second. That's literally the blink of an eye. He's across the line. And does the 66 go to provisional pole with 2 minutes to go? You bet. 2 personal bests and an overall best sector 2 for a 40.2. Is somebody going to have to do a sub 140 under 100 seconds for round here in a GT car to take pole position? Let's just say that again. 3.27 miles, under 100 seconds to get round here. Man, that is hauling the mill.
It certainly is. I mean, I said this morning I thought the BMWs were going to be hard, the Fords were going to be hard to beat around here, but that's a stunning lap from Joey Hand. Massively quicker than anything else he's managed this weekend. The best the Ford done prior to this session was 41.0 this morning. So more than 3/4 of a second has been found in this session by Joey Hand.
John Edwards and Joey Hand still out there. Tommy Milner putting together a decent lap and improves, still only 5th. And by the way, 5th is half a second away from the pole. That's all we're talking about here. 140.7 for Tommy Milner. Jan Magnussen's just done his car's best lap. That's the number 3 Corvette, a 40.8, so still less than 6/10 away. And the top 7 separated by under 0.8 of a second, with Richard Westbrook in the second of the Chip Ganassi Racing cars, the 67 car, on a 141.1.
It's very interesting to see how fast these cars can really go. That's what we're seeing right now, and we haven't seen this sort of pace from anybody previously this weekend. Joey Hand's best lap was set earlier this morning, personally, at a 41.4, now down to 40.2. That is a heck of an improvement.
Another improvement coming, I think, for Tommy Milner. He's put a cracking first sector in, just under 36 seconds. Now, can that pull him towards the top of the timing screen? Pole sitter, provisional pole sitter is in the pit lane. That's the 66 Chip Ganassi car. Sims in the pit lane in the BMW, the second BMW. John Edwards in third position in that 24 car. So at the moment, BMW on the outside of the front row, the inside of the second row. Fisichella for Risi Competizione in fourth position. Dave Sims reminding me they have the smallest fuel tank and the slowest fuel fill rate in that Ferrari. So in a full green race, they have some time to make up. They don't have the strategic capabilities of some of the other teams. Checkered flag is out.
But they have a pretty frugal engine in that
they do.
car, certainly.
True enough, that's why they've got the smallest. And yes, that's a fair point to make, Jeremy.
But improvements on that last lap. You talk about Tommy Milner's lap. He was an improvement fractionally, 140.758, but still fifth fastest in car number 4. So he will narrowly out-qualify his teammate Jan Magnussen, the pole sitter and race winner last year in car number 3.
40.8 for Magnussen, and his pole time last year was what, Jeremy?
Last year's pole was a 141.557.
So that's 3/4 of a second.
1.3 seconds.
Sorry, 1.3 seconds ahead of his pole last year, and he's only in 6th position.
Yeah.
The checkered flag is out. The 9 cars are either in the pit lane or have seen the checkered flag in GTLM. Per share, Adam will not have known which part of the pit lane to be in there. Not sure where you positioned yourself, Shea, but you need to be right in front of us and down by the Ford Performance Chip Ganassi Racing team as Joey Hand has got out of the car, takes off the distinctive helmet. His teammate Dirk is right with him, and that is pole position then for Joey Hand and the 66 Chip Ganassi racing car. Shea?
Well, that's number 3 on the year for Joey Hand, and he's been very generous. Took the pole at Daytona, did Joey. Let people have the pole for 3 other races. Then you took the pole at Watkins Glen. Let people have the pole for 3 other races. Now you take it again. I think I'm going to put money on you for Sebring 2018. Was there anything left? I mean, it looked like you rang the neck of that Ford.
I rang it out. I told him on that lap, coming down the hill there, I said, well, if this doesn't do it, we don't have it, because I got everything I could get out of it. But, you know, we just, it's just one of those things. It's such a pleasure coming to the racetrack with this group of people. They do such great homework. They have such great preparation. We rolled out a trailer again, just like Road America. We rolled out a trailer so good here. We haven't touched a lot. We fine-tuned stuff. And Dirk and I said, let's just put it away. Like that's, we'll take it like that. Let's put the new tires on it and low fuel, let's go with it. So, yeah, we're just really excited. Dirk's done a great job. Again, he was on the pole last race, and it's a great way to start it. I tell you, I told him at Road America, I'm super comfy. I told him here, I'm super comfy. I think good things can happen here.
Well, and of course, you guys are the big dogs this week. You are going to be leading everybody to the green flag, the whole field. It's a position you're familiar with, though, of course, having raced in the top class before, but a little bit something extra special when you get to win overall, isn't it?
I think it is special here, you know, to lead, you know, to start the race from the front, right behind the pace car. That's always cool. But you know, it's I gotta say, it's just a lot about these Ford Performance, Chip Ganassi guys, Multimatic, everybody that helps us out. You know, I'm looking for another one of those little Michelin men. I gotta tell you, one of my favorite trophies is one of those Michelin guys. It was 2nd place last year for us, and I told my kids, I said, I think we need a little bigger one.
I think you need to give that to him. Good luck this week.
Thanks a lot. And by the way, it's my son's birthday tomorrow, so that's another reason to start from the pole and have a good race tomorrow.
There you go. Happy birthday.
Joey Hand on pole position, back-to-back poles for the 66 car and the Ford Performance Chip Ganassi racing team. He will start from the front. There's a good chance we could go all green for 2 hours and 40 minutes. And basically, Jeremy, everybody is going to have to drive laps like we've just seen for the whole 2 hours and 40 minutes, because there's no easing off. There's no driving at 85% here. It's 100% from the moment you see the green flag until you put the pit lane speed limiter on, and then again after your pit stop.
You're absolutely right. It's going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight tomorrow. That was a great lap by Joey Hand, no question about it. Galling for Alexander Sims, led for much of the session, and I think that's you will start again, have to be content with second on the grid, but still a great effort by him on his first visit here. That's his second front row start for him in the car this season.
I don't think Rahal Letterman will be too disappointed with that. Second and third on the grid, Ford and Ferrari either side of them. You know, they're the only team there that's got their two cars right up the sharp end. Corvette are 5th and 6th. The second Ford's down in 7th. You know, it's obviously the 62 is a Singleton car anyway. I think Bobby's team will be quite happy with that.
I think they will, absolutely. They've worked really, really hard this season. They've struggled in the early part of the season. They've had a few bounce performance checks just to bring the cars on a level playing field with everybody else, and that is a really stout effort by the BMW team. Second and third, they will be happy with that.
Jeremy, thank you very much indeed. That sets the scene perfectly for the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship on Sunday, and the gap between front and back is nothing at all, let's be honest. Joey Hand and Alexander Sims will start on the front row. Earlier, we saw Jerome Mull and Jesse Krohn having their battle, and it went to the Lamborghini of Jesse Krohn and Change Racing on home ground here at VIR. The street-based cars getting ready for a street fight on Sunday for the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship here at VIR, and it's all live here on IMSA Radio and TV.